Good afternoon and welcome to the November 11th, 2024 meeting of the Orlando City Council. We're going to open today's proceedings with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Sheehan, but I would like to say it is so nice to have all of you here today, most with smiling faces, because the last few meetings we've had people that just wanted to come and yell at us about annexations and rural boundaries and all time. No, they should be here now, so they're not here. But all these happy people are here. In any event, let's go to Mr. Sheehan.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer, and I'm going to read a poem by Amanda Gorman called The Hurting. May we not just grieve, but give. May we not just ache, but act. May our right to bear arms never blind our sight from shared harm. May we choose our children over chaos. May another child or citizen's freedoms never be lost. Maybe everything hurts, our hearts shadowed and strange, but only when everything hurts, may everything change. A poem by Amanda Gorman. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, let's call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll and make determination of quorum, please?
Commissioner Gray?
Here.
Commissioner Ortiz?
Here.
Commissioner Stewart?
Here.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Here.
Interim Commissioner Sheehan Rose? Here. Commissioner Burns?
Here.
Mayor Dyer?
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with all members present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First order of business will be the meeting minutes from the workshop agenda review and city council meeting of October 21st and the November 4th agenda review and city council meeting. Motion by Commissioner Ortiz, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, that brings us, we don't have any awards, presentations, or recognitions, so I'm going to do the update. I have a little bit longer update than I normally would have, but it's all good things. And beginning with today is Veterans Day, and I want to thank the thousands of veterans that are in our community. We are thankful for your service, for your sacrifice and your commitment, and we continue to strive to make Orlando the most veteran-friendly community in the entire country. And that includes by hosting events that honor veterans. Our 5th annual Veterans Day Parade was this last Saturday. Unfortunately, I was out of town, but I understand it went well, had good weather, and was well attended. So I want to thank our city staff and the members of the Veterans Advisory Council for organizing the event downtown Orlando. Today in the audience, I would like to acknowledge that we have representatives from the Valencia College Student Government Association, and it's their inaugural Valencia SGA Day at City Hall. So in addition to being here for council for some of the meeting, they are going to learn from staff about some of the local ways to get engaged, and we appreciate you spending a portion of your day with us, especially because it's Veterans Day and that's a holiday and you have no classes and you chose to join us here at City Hall. So go Pumas. Would you guys stand up and be recognized? Thank you very much. Thanks for being here. And speaking of strong cats, what better thing to talk about than the Lions and the Pride? If you are a soccer fan, there's no better place in the country right now to be than Orlando. The Pride had a historic record-breaking season. They won their first playoff game 4-1. They'll be back here on Sunday at 3 o'clock to play a semifinal against Kansas City, which has been a nemesis. And when they win that game, they'll move on to play for the championship in Kansas City. Likewise, our Orlando City Lions won their first playoff game. Or it was a series, actually. They won 2 out of 3 of the series, and they will play on the 24th against Atlanta because evil Miami got beat by Atlanta. So we don't have to play Miami in the playoffs. We get to play Atlanta. So we should be favored all the way to the conference championship game. And as I said, the Pride is likely to make it to Kansas City. One of the things we always like to do is celebrate birthdays. So Commissioner Gray's birthday was last week, and we didn't celebrate it. Well, we did a little bit, but somewhere different. So if you would join me in...
It's old news, Mayor. Let's pass.
All right. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Commissioner Gray. Happy birthday to you. Okay. I have just a couple items of note on today's agenda. Item A1 is Community Investment Program grants. We are granting almost $3 million to 56 human service organizations to provide help with our critical services. And I know that there are a lot of them there because I just did a photograph outside. So if you guys would stand up and let us recognize you for the great work you do in our community. And the students asked me what the best aspect of our city was. They actually asked me my best achievement, but I think it's the collaboration that we have among all sectors in our community, whether it's the local governments working together, us with Orange County or Seminole or Osceola, but more importantly, it's us working, the governments working with the not-for-profits, with the business community, with the faith community, because everything we get it done because we do it together. And I want you to know, we shouldn't take that for granted. It doesn't happen that way and most other communities. I go to my U.S. Conference of Mayors meetings, and they're not talking about collaboration and partnership. They're talking about how much they hate their university because they have parking in neighborhoods and different things like that. So we always put that aside, work together. So we appreciate the work that you do that we could not do, but we're happy to help fund a little bit of. So thank you for being here. Also, as part of our Greenworks Orlando initiative to create a cooler, greener city for future generations, we're pursuing a grant from the federal government to help us build on our sustainability and resilience efforts. We're partnering with Lanzia for Progress to apply to EPA. Marcos Villar and Father Jose Rodriguez are here representing them, and I want to thank them for their leadership and collaboration. Stand up. And finally, the other thing is our Main Street districts, which are maybe, it shouldn't be surprisingly, but surprisingly, is probably the best program that we have ever done. We have activated over the course of 17 years, 12 different districts where our small businesses thrive, where the culinary success that we've had, I think, is born in those districts. I think some of the issues we have in not being able to attract a lot of great stuff downtown is because it's all in the Main Street districts, and we've been so successful with them. And over the course of that time, our Main Street districts have created 14,000 full or part-time jobs, launched 3,000 new businesses, and contributed 174,000 volunteer hours. So the executive directors from those districts are here, and let's thank them as well. Would you guys? Okay, with that, we're going to move on to the consent agenda, which is a number of items acted upon through a single vote of council. We give each of our council members an opportunity to comment on items from the consent agenda and update you on important happenings from their districts, and we rotate the order that we do that. Commissioner Sheehan is first up today. Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor Dyer. And Commissioners, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an update on solar, what's happening with OUC. OUC is changing the way they reimburse their customers for solar energy. They are grandfathering the existing customers for 20 years. I'm not too happy about that because I'm going to get kicked off when I'm in my 80s. And this was part of my retirement plan. But something that really upsets me is that instead of reimbursing us for 11 cents a kilowatt hour, they're cutting it to 4 cents by 60%. This is in direct conflict with our sustainability goals. I do not understand why OUC thinks they should profit off other people's investment. I think a lot of folks should be aware this is why we don't have nice things, is because corporations tend to fight renewable energy, and now our own not-for-profit utility is fighting this. Less than 4% of OUC's customers have solar. This is killing a gnat with a sledgehammer, and it shouldn't happen. And OUC has also refused, something that's really frustrating to me, they have refused federal dollars to install solar panels for low-income residents. So this is a really bad idea. I'm hoping that we get more people at the December meeting. You know what, I'm grandfathered, I'm protected, and so are the existing solar customers, but this is the wrong way for us to be going with our sustainability goals. Solar people produce during the peak of the day when all this solar energy is needed, when more energy is needed, and I don't understand why they do this. So commissioners, I have an idea. I think that we need to make sure, when we make further OUC board appointments, that there is someone who is an expert on renewable energy on the OUC board. I think that's really important moving forward to make sure that people will be treated fairly and that we have sustainable energy in our future, because you can't weigh people's ability to harness the sun. It's not something they can control, so they're trying to control it through this process. And I feel strongly that this is wrong, not just for me, but for future generations to do away with solar energy. I just think it's the wrong way to go. It also, I have to tell you, all the solar installers that have come both to install my batteries and to install my roof were very happy to have their jobs. They're minorities. They talked about how this was the best job that they'd ever had. Amazing human beings, and I hate to see what's happening to an industry that really wants to do the right thing by giving good paying, high paying jobs to people in our community that really, really need it. On the agenda today, the Veterans Day, it was a beautiful day. Thank you so much to the veterans Advisory Council, and to all the veterans for your service. And I also have another ask. We do Memorial Day at Greenwood Cemetery every year, and it's not very well attended, so I'd like to ask some of the members of the community, let's try to get some more folks out there at Memorial Day, not Veterans Day, for Memorial Day at Greenwood, because it's really important to recognize not just those who serve, but those who also gave the ultimate sacrifice. I am proud of my city, proud of my pride. I have been a season ticket holder for 9 years, and we've had some rough years, and it's amazing to be we are the number 1 team in the nation. Go Pride! Woo! I know. It's awesome. So it's just, the games are great. We finally had some folks coming out over the weekend. Now, of course, we're number 1. Everybody wants to come to the games. Please come to the games anyway, because, women, we need to support other women in sports. This is one of our professional women's sports teams, and we really need to support them. On the agenda today, I'm very happy with the community investment program and all the great work that all of you do. Many great organizations in my district, so people in the community that I know and love, and thank you for everything that you do, because you take care of the least of us in the most wonderful way, and I just want to salute you, say I love you, and thank you for all the hard work that you do to help those less fortunate. Thank you very much. And also today on the Main Street agreements, in my district, Curry Ford West, Mills 50, Soto, Milk District, and Thornton Park, all doing amazing things in transforming areas. And Mayor, it might not be that they're competing with downtown. It might just be that all boats must rise. So we need to bring a little bit of that special energy in as well, because they're doing amazing stuff. And some of the best publicity that we get in the city is from the things that are happening in the Main Street district. And I'm kind of proud of my neighborhood, because we used to be full of streetwalkers, and when I moved in there, and let me just say that Mills 50 used to be a little rock and roll and rough when I moved there. I was walking home from Wally's one day, and someone asked me how much. And now it's now we're the foodie destination, so I love that. I love that change in my neighborhood. Nobody asked me how much, probably because I've got a little bit older, but it's changed. It has transformed my neighborhood, and I'm very, very proud of that. And that's all I had. With that laugh, that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Commissioner Rose.
I don't know that I can come back from that, Commissioner Sheehan. Happy Veterans Day to all our service members. This past Saturday, we had an amazing parade. Commissioner Burns and I, we had our Paramore Kids Zone, Holden Heights Kids Zone, and Mercy Drive Kids Zone marching in the parade. I had one of our youth come and say that we were helping them to break their shyness, because they were able to go over to individuals who were attending the parade to give them candy and to greet them. So for me, like that's impactful for ensuring that our youth are engaged, but that they're overcoming fears and they're being part of the community and they understand it. So I also want to thank Planet Pizza downtown on Washington Street, because they sponsored the lunch for our kids and our kids had pizza. So big shout out to Planet Pizza. I want to thank the Orlando Magic. While they are our great partner, their commitment to this community is unwavering. I was able to attend something called Pick, Read, and Roll. For those that don't know, what they do at OS is they bring the 5th graders and they reward them for getting high reading scores, and then they bring the 4th graders to kind of shadow to say, hey, this is what could be you next. So I just want to thank the Orlando Magic, especially Maritza. She's doing a wonderful, amazing job over at the Orlando Magic. Grateful for the District 5 Neighborhood Association presidents. For those that don't realize, there's about 27 neighborhood associations across District 5. What I've committed to is quarterly meetings with our neighborhood association presidents. So it gives us an opportunity for the presidents to hear updates that are happening in the district, as well as to bring their concerns. So staff probably dislikes me a little bit afterwards, because I'm coming with, hey, how do we fix this? How do we fix that? But it's a way for us to stay engaged with the district, with this city, to make sure that we're moving forward and we're progressing with what the needs are from the residents. Recently, I did a ride-along with Solid Waste to learn more about the division. It was great. I actually got in the truck and picked up a couple of trash cans. But what I wanted individuals who don't to follow the District 5 on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about what our city divisions do. So you'll continue to see more ride-alongs to learn exactly the intricacy of how our departments work here. I also want to do a special shout out to Solid Waste for their continued efforts with our hurricane cleanup. We have a whole website now for you to kind of track and report if your debris has not been picked up. Recently, The Boys and Girls Club in Paramore had an annual college fair. I was able to attend, but this is just an opportunity to continue to expose our youth to what's next in their life, different resources and opportunities. So big shout out to the Levy Hughes Boys and Girls Club. I want to thank the FR team. District 5, our team was able to go to all of the trunk or treats across the district. It's amazing, the trunk or treat events, the haunted houses, and the way we positively engage with this community. And so I just want a big shout out to Lisa Early and her team. Super proud, kind of echo what Commissioner Sheehan said with Orlando Pride and Orlando City Soccer for making it to the finals. I want everyone in this room to go buy a ticket. Like, tickets are as low as $17 to attend the game. So this is our way to show our real Orlando pride and supporting right here. Didn't get to say it earlier, but happy 10th birthday to the Dr. Phillips Center. Kathy Ramsberger and her staff have done an amazing job bringing different activities to the Dr. Phillips Center. But more importantly, their commitment to community is unwavering. And I say that because the organization itself fundraised so that our students and those who are not able to afford can attend activities at the Dr. Phillips Center. So it's an amazing job that they're doing. A facility for a certain class of individuals, which is what District 5 residents complained about. Like, is it going to be for everyone? And so I want to, shout out Kathy and give a special thank you to Kathy and the Dr. Phillips Center staff. The Orlando Regional Realtor Association have a new home, and I was able to visit. So those realtors that are in the building might want to join. Thank you to Valencia and UCF Downtown for hosting an annual character parade. What they do is they set the whole university, different floors throughout the downtown campus, and they allow the students from the ACE, OCPS Elementary ACE School to come over and experience a tour of the college campus. And I want to say a special Go Pumas because I am an alumni for Valencia, so thank you all for being here. Go Pumas. This is an opportunity for elementary students to see a college campus from a young age and really ingrain education in them right across the street from them. So thank you to Valencia and UCF. Last week was able to celebrate the AB honor roll students. So I partnered with Sweeties and we gave out ice cream cones for our students and not just the district, but throughout the city who received ABs. They brought their report cards over. It was a great time. It's a way to reward our students and positive reinforcement. Some families can't afford ice cream, right? So it's just an opportunity for the small to support small business, but also to reward our students in this community. So we've had complaints, but I personally want to give a special thank you to Electric Daisy Carnival and the promoter Insomniac. So while there are negative connotations, I want to be positive. When I first got elected, I met with the promoter and they committed to jobs for our community, as well as last week we were able to take our youth and they did a behind the scenes tour of what the Electric Daisy Carnival looks like. And so it's an opportunity for jobs, like what's to come. Like, there are amazing job opportunities from being a rigger to being a promoter to being a pyrotechnic. So I want a special thank you to Insomniac with Electric Daisy Carnival for allowing our youth to come out, and special thank you to Craig Borkin for making it happen over in the venues. Last one, I promise. I want to give a special thank you to Jason Siegel with the Greater Orlando Sports Commission. He connected me with WWE, and every week the youth from our community get to go and watch WWE wrestling live in person. We've started, and so I have a lot of the kids zones, but I've also started reaching out to our Boys and Girls Club. So the goal is for the District 5 youth who are in programming to be able to see WWE live. The kids can't stop talking about it. Now on to the agenda. Glad to be approving A1. This is a great way of supporting the nonprofits doing the great work in the community. A2, Alianza does great work in this community. Glad to see this partnership. This is, for those who may not know, this is a way to support our disenfranchised communities and address environmental issues. As far as B8, supportive of it, great to see us moving forward with the Camping World Stadium as we pick a design professional team, and then C14, C20, and C24. These are the three main streets, City District, Paramore District, and West Lakes District that are in District 5. Glad to continue to support the efforts and look forward to the great things we will do in District 5. Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Burns.
All right, thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, everyone. First, I'd like to today we honor our courageous men and women who serve in our military, our armed forces. Just like to say thank you for your service. Also, I'd like to just say thank you to the Mayor's Veterans Committee for putting on such a great Veterans Day parade. My daughter and myself had a great time. We will be in attendance next year. Also, we have, in addition to the District 16, I'd like to welcome my new police liaison, Corporal Michelle Rogers, who's in the back. Corporal Rogers, can you take a step? So Corporal Rogers is joining the District 16. She has 14 years of law enforcement experience, and 3+ of those have been on the West Side Neighborhood Patrol. So we're looking forward to you joining the team. Also, had the ability to attend the Grand Avenue Trunk or Treat as well as the Hankins Trunk or Treat events. Those events are always a good time to give back to our kids in a safe environment where they can receive some goodies. Also, on 10/29, I had the pleasure of attending the Indian American Chamber of Commerce board installation. So I want to say congratulations to those new board members, and we stand ready to continue to support you all. Also, on 10/30, I attended the Alpha Kappa Alpha 30th Annual Senior Citizen Fellowship Luncheon. This is a time where we have probably 300+ seniors coming together for some fun, some singing, little dancing, some competitions, but some good meals, just to say thank you to our seniors for laying the foundation that many of us walk on today. Also on 11/6, I attended the My Brother's Keeper backpack giveaway. And then on 11/7, I was fortunate to attend the Grand East Village groundbreaking. And this is an initiative made possible through the collaborations between the City of Orlando, the Housing Trust Group, a leading multifamily developer, AM Affordable Housing, founded by NBA Hall of Famer and Miami Heat legend Alonzo Mourning, and the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Florida. And so about the Grand East Village, this is a $30 million affordable senior community, which will have 92 units. It includes 69 one-bedroom units, which about 683 square feet, and 23 two-bedroom units, about 978. This is very important because statistics show that over the last year, there's been in our community about a 24% increase in the number of seniors who now found themselves facing homelessness. So we as a community have to come together and start to find solutions. And what's great about this development is that all the units will be for individuals at 60% or below of AMI. All right, so 90% of those will be at 60%, and then another 10% will be below 33%, so the very low income. So again, I'm excited. This project would not only provide affordable housing, but also enrich the lives of our senior residents with outstanding amenities. They have a resort-style swimming pool, multi-purpose community room, theater room, pickleball court, community garden, state-of-the-art fitness center, Amazon lockers, a dog park, outdoor grill, all the amenities that you will see in new developments. While it's a senior affordable development, you will not go there and see that this is an affordable development. It looks like, you know, the high-end development. So we're expecting that this will be completed this time next year. So about a 12 to 14 month time period. Also, just some upcoming events. On Wednesday, November the 13th, I will have my satellite office hours at El Claudia Allen from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. This is a time for our residents to come meet with me outside of City Hall if they would like to. So please contact my office to get on that schedule. Also, this Friday, November the 15th, we have a food giveaway at the Dr. James R. Smith Center in partnership with the If You Foundation, starting at 4 o'clock. Sunday, November the 17th, a Thanksgiving food giveaway, again at the Dr. James R. Smith Center with the He Got Up initiative, and that starts at noon. And then Wednesday, November the 20th, a Thanksgiving meal giveaway at Grand Avenue Center at 6 p.m. Also, I want to invite everyone to Friday, November the 22nd, the iDrive District Holiday Tree Lighting at the Orlando Icon Park at 5:30. It's always a great event. I invite everyone to come out and enjoy. Then, November the 22nd through November the 24th, we will be hosting again the Florida Blue Florida Classic, which is a great football game between the Florida A&M University and Bethune-Cookman University, two of our local HBCUs coming together for a great football game, but more of a family reunion type of environment. So we're excited about that. Also on the agenda, I'd like to say congratulations to all of the organizations receiving community investment program grant funding. I'd just like to say thank you for all that you do for our vulnerable underserved community members. We wouldn't be the great city that we are without the of our fellow nonprofits. So thank you. And with that, Mayor, I need to read a statement. As you know, I serve as the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Healthcare Center for the Homeless. The city's community investment program for this year and for several years prior to my service on the council has included funds to provide grant funding to the Healthcare Center for the Homeless. None of this money goes toward my compensation. I will abstain from voting on any funding agreement between the city and the Healthcare Center for the Homeless, and we'll fill out the necessary paperwork. And with that, Mayor, I'm finished with my statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mayor.
Commissioner Gray.
Thank you, Mayor. And I've got some announcements to make. I'll try to be as quick as I can. But was fortunate enough to be included in a lot of events, really good events, and I just want to thank those folks. On the 30th of October, attended the grand opening of the new headquarters for the Orlando Regional Realtor Associates at Lee Road and I-4. It's a beautiful facility, and thanks to Cliff Long and his team for including me in that. As the mayor mentioned earlier, on the 6th of November, the Dr. Phillips Center 10-year anniversary, it was a great event. Catherine McPhee, I'm a new fan of hers. She's a great singer and entertainer, and again, just reinforced the importance of the arts to our community. So I was glad to be part of that. And then the rest is kind of all veterans thing, but they're all kind of neat in their own way. On the 7th of November, the First Academy hosted a veteran and grandparents celebration, but they did it through the whole school. So it was kind of neat because they closed the school, brought all the kids in, and gave them a chance to understand a little bit about some patriotism and some of the sacrifices made by our veterans and grandparents. So that was kind of neat. On the 9th, as it was said earlier, I did attend the Veterans Parade. I want to apologize to the young man. I hit him right in the head with a Snickers bar, right? And I thought, uh-oh, here we go. But so I apologize to him. I've been looking around for him and his parents and maybe his attorney, but they're not here, so I think I'm okay. But and then I want to apologize to the other kids because to make it up to him, I threw the whole bag of candy to him, so it was all good. We were good, but it was a great event, and thanks to our team for organizing that and to the Veterans Committee on that. And then the final two, today out in our area at Lake Nona, they had the Folds of Honor golf tournament. It's going on now, but because I'm so committed here, I'm not playing golf. But it's a great event. They'll probably raise about $500,000, and they provide scholarships to the children of deceased and disabled veterans. So it's a great cause, and I want to thank them and the folks out at Lake Nona and Tavistock for hosting that. And then tonight, beginning at 6 o'clock in the town center of Lake Nona, another celebration for Veterans Day. And they bring in entertainers from the tourist section, so they singing, dancing, and it's capped off by paratroopers who parachute down in the dark and land on top of the parking garage. So it's really a neat event. So if you have time, come on out tonight. It's all free. Parking's free. The whole event's free. I'd encourage you to come out. That's tonight, Lake Nona Town Center, and the festivities start around 6 to 6:30. And with that, Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Ortiz.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioner, for your service. I just have a couple of things to say. I just want to congratulate all the community service organizations, and I have two of those that are part of my district. One is the Alianza for Progress. Thank you so much for the work that you guys are doing in our community. Father, every member, you guys have done a great job. And UCF is in the house. So thank you so much, Ms. Haddad, for the work that you guys are doing with all our people learning English through UCF Global. You guys are doing a magnificent job. And then on the other side, I want to congratulate also the Main Street recipients of your grants. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Because of the Main Streets, in many occasions, we don't find ourselves with the need of coming downtown. We just hang out in our districts, right? So, which is good, I mean, both ways. And I have, of course, Curry 4 West is in the house, and I believe Gateway District should be in the house too, hopefully. If not, congratulations anyhow. And I just want to say a few words to add to what Commissioner Sheehan was saying in terms of net metering. Commissioner, you're right on the money. I don't see what's going on. I would have expected for us, and all the way to the state level, to go for a fixed fee instead of going for the whole rate within each one of the hours that are retrieved in terms of energy. But what we need to do is to empower our community with the knowledge of what's going on, because most people don't know. And that way, I think our community is going to go ahead and call those legislators in Tallahassee and tell them, we don't need this. You know, we make this huge investment in addition to what we do, and now we also have to pay these fees instead of just being a fixed fee. So we need to call our legislators, not only the ones that we have representing us in the Central Florida region, but all around the state. Tell them that we disagree with this. And it's our job also to empower others in terms of this kind of knowledge. If we're going to be sustainable, we need to be sustainable all the way. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. And Commissioner Stewart.
Stewart, S-T-U.
Commissioner Stewart.
I wore a tie in honor of that, just to let you know. Thank you very much, Mayor. I appreciate it. A couple of things, and thank you for giving me the extra time, Tony. I appreciate that. So let's go back through a couple of things that happened in the last few weeks. We had Trunk or Treat, and Rosemont and College Park did the best job of anybody in the city. I just want y'all to know. Other ones talk about it, but like we really do it. But I will tell you, College Park has done a wonderful job every year doing this. They redecorate the entire facility, and it is wonderful. I had a lady call me and say, "Why didn't you? I saw what went on. Why didn't you tell me about it earlier?" And I said, "Well, we told everybody who came to the center. We told everybody at the school that serves it. We told everybody who's an after-school program, and I put it on social media well in advance. I'm sorry you missed it. You're going to come down. Well, I wasn't, my kids, right? Okay, fine. Now you know next year. We do it the Saturday before Thanksgiving. For Easter. Let's just say Saturday before Halloween. I get all this out. Okay, so, and Rosemont did a great job.
I wonder why they were confused.
No wonder they were confused. She was there the Saturday before Easter. I wonder why. Be quiet. You're lucky I like you. Okay. So let's get on the other stuff. Veterans Day, it was a wonderful event. Mayor, thank you for honoring me and allowing me to do the quick introductions. But I'm humbled when I stand next to those people who have served our country because it's a humbling experience, and I appreciate that. And I especially am grateful for two veterans on our council, one in Marines and one in Air Force, right? So Commissioner Gray and Commissioner Ortiz. So thank you all very much for your service. I appreciate that. We've said a lot of kudos about it, but I want to say a special kudos to April and her staff. They did an absolute yeoman's job to make this work. It is not easy corralling, 100 floats to come through and all the rest of the stuff they did. And I'm so honored that they do that. They always do a great job. And I want to give them a special round of applause. So thank you, Mayor, for their commitment to that. Today is Veterans Day, and so for those of you who are familiar a little bit with history, on the 11th day of the 11th month, at the 11th hour, at the 11th minute, is a celebration of the armistice of World War I, and therefore we celebrate Veterans Day. So when you get back at home, that's the reason why it's today. It's a remembrance of those who fought in the Great War, but it's also now remembering those who continue to serve ever since. So today over at Lake Highland, they did their special Veterans Day program, and I had to actually work here. I'm kind of like, I have to work, and Jim gets out of cough, I have to come here. But they do a wonderful job, and they do 3 or 4 performances during the course of the day, and they celebrate veterans, and especially celebrate those who have gone to their school and have continued to serve, as well as parents and grandparents. And so that's the reward. I got a chance to go this morning and greet several of the veterans and see some of my old friends over there. It was great. Upcoming, a couple of things. The Atlantic Music Center is opening, having a grand opening tomorrow at 6 to get a chance in our district. My district has 2 new state champions in high school athletics. Lake Highland girls softball won the 3A state championship, and the Bishop Moore girls volleyball. And the Bishop Moore girls volleyball also won the 4A state championship. I'm gonna give them a round of applause for that. It's not an easy task, and they happen to be in my district. I'm thrilled about that. So upcoming events real quickly. In Baldwin Park Elementary School on the 16th, we're having a shred event, so we'll get the information out. If you want to shred, please drop by. We'll take care of it for you. Jingle Eve is coming up. I think I've seen a couple of people here that care about that. That's coming up on the 23rd and the 22nd. We light the holiday light that says Happy Holidays across the entrance to the northern entrance to the city of Orlando. So I'm thrilled about that. Thank you all for staff for helping make that happen. Of course, the Florida Classic coming up, and then Dazzling Nights. They've transformed Halloween at Lou Gardens to now being Christmas. Dazzling Nights starts on November 29th. You can get your tickets right away. So I appreciate that. So thank you very much. On the agenda today, Mayor, I do want to commemorate all those involved in community investment. Thank you for the work that you do. I sat in your chairs for several years, and many of you are good friends of mine, and I am grateful for the work that you continue to do, and I will encourage you in terms of doing that. Into the main streets, I've got 3 main streets and parts of 2 more. So College Park, Ivanhoe Village, Audubon Park Garden District, Mills 50, and the West Lakes are all involved and engaged in all of those. Thank you for the work that you do. And Mayor, I think the city is an example nationwide for the work that we do with individual main streets inside the metropolitan area. And that's attributed to y'all who do the work. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. On the agenda today also, we'll be approving the final work with the Lake Highland Preparatory School Gymnasium. They're making some changes over there in their master plan. And then also the Bishop Moore High School has got some changes on their master plan. I'm so thrilled about both of them. That those projects are now moving forward, and I think they'll be great assets to our individual community. And with that, Mayor, I'll take the honor of making a motion to pass the consent agenda.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Ortiz. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. And so the motion passes. So that means everything that was on the consent agenda just passed. So it means all of the funding and all of the things that all of you came for today. So it would be appropriate now. We will take a 30-second recess. If you would like to leave, you may do so. Yeah.
Call me.
Good to see you. There'll be an outfit. There's always an
Hey, but come back anytime. Come back anytime and we'll do that. David, you know, it's weird. Every time you come up, everybody just gets up and leaves.
I don't know what it is. Something I said, maybe.
I know.
You invite him to leave, Mayor.
I know. Okay, we're going to, if there's no objection, we're going to recess the City Council meeting. We're going to convene the CRA meeting. First item is CRA meeting minutes from September 9th. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Rose. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2 is CRA meeting minutes September 23rd. Motion by Commissioner Rose, second by Commissioner Sheehan. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. CRA Advisory Board minutes, September 25th. Motion by Commissioner Sheehan, second by Commissioner Stewart. All in favor indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. And so that passes as well. All right, David, time for you to go to work.
There we go. Well, thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Item 4 is a new restaurant coming to downtown Orlando. So excited to have the opportunity to partner with them with the DTO restaurant program. So as you will recall, a little over a year ago, we created the DTO restaurant program, which looks to incentivize restaurants in locating downtown. Specifically, they can qualify for up to $400,000 in tenant improvements, additional $50,000 in rental assistance, and an additional $25,000 in improvements to outdoor cafe areas. So today, we're discussing Sparrow. Sparrow is a new restaurant going into the North Quarter area. It's by the Good Salt Group, so you'll recognize some of their other names. They have 18 years of experience. If you've ever been to Reyes or the Monroe, the Osprey, Seto Sushi, great establishments here in Orlando. So excited to have another one in downtown. They're going to be open 7 days a week, and they are doing a very extensive build out in that location, over $400,000 of work, which qualifies them for $187,600 from the CRA in tenant improvement assistance, and then an additional $25,000 of assistance for their first year's rental abatement. Total incentive from the CRA at $212,600, and I'm happy to address any questions.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Commissioner Rose.
Mayor, I have met with staff and I expressed some concerns. Promoters have come to me within the community and expressed that other Sparrow Orlando LLC organizations have been disenfranchising other promoters, and I want to ensure that we're creating an equitable opportunity here in the city of Orlando, especially here downtown. This is not a rhetoric that we want to spread. There have been a whole social media blitz about it with a recent promoter trying to spend their money in the district. And I just want to I want to put on the record that we want to be cognizant to ensure that everyone gets equal opportunity to use venues within our city. Thank you.
Further discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Okay, number 5.
So item 5, Mayor, this is a new incentive program that we're proposing from the CRA. It's a Parklet grant program. This is for, you probably saw during COVID, there were a lot of expansions into outdoor areas for the community to still enjoy the outdoor weather and remain safe. So if you've been through the Thornton Park area, you saw a lot of extended sidewalk cafes that were in various parking spaces. Those have since kind of seen their useful life. This incentive program would partner with businesses within the CRA to replace those with more robust systems that are more aesthetically pleasing, ADA compliant, and the things that just make us proud to have them in downtown Orlando. It would allow them to qualify for 50% of the cost of those physical improvements, with a total incentive from the CRA capped at $9,500 per grant.
Motion by Commissioner Rose, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and so the motion carries. David, anything further to come before the CRA?
That is all.
Then we will stand adjourned and we will reconvene the City Council meeting. And that brings us to new business, item number 1, which is the 23-24 Red Light Camera Annual Summary Report, which is an annual report as to the way to evaluate red light cameras' effectiveness at reducing red light violations, preventing traffic collisions, and promoting safer driving habits. It's something required through the legislation. Ray Rodriguez, who manages our city's Orlando Stops traffic safety program, will be presenting the results. Ray, you are on.
Yes. Good afternoon, Mayor Dyer and council members and those in attendance. My name is Ray Rodriguez. I'm the manager for Orlando Stops Traffic Safety Program, and I'm here to disseminate that report. And the report will cover fiscal year July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024. And basically what the statute is saying is that the City of Orlando red light camera program, or anybody operating red light camera programs, they have to go ahead and report some of the findings on some specific areas, and I'm going to mention those areas. And it basically has to do with how many were issued, how many tickets were issued, how many were paid, how many people contested it, and how many were upheld in court, and how many were dismissed. Now, I'll go into further detail to explain what's the difference between a notice violation and a uniform traffic citation. So the City of Orlando, as well as other municipalities, per state statute, we issue a notice of violation for the amount of $158 when a vehicle runs a red light. And that amount is payable by the owner of the vehicle, or the registered vehicle, should I say. And they have 60 days to pay the amount of $158. The City of Orlando grants them an extra 30 days for a total of 90 days to pay $158. There's 0 points on your license. There's no records as far as the Department of Motor Vehicles is concerned. Now, when somebody fails to pay that initial offer of $158, a uniform traffic citation is issued after those 90 days. And the uniform traffic citation is payable at the Orange County Clerk of Courts, and they basically give 30 days to pay $262. So a red light violation in the state of Florida, if you get pulled over by an officer, is automatically $262, and is payable at the courthouse. A uniform traffic citation is payable to the City of Orlando. So here's the main part of the disclosure. Notice of violation issued by the City of Orlando Stops is 58,612 notice of violations.
Ray, were you going through your PowerPoint is not operational, or you need to change your slides?
Is there a clicker?
I think we are here.
Yep.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Okay, perfect.
I think you'd moved on. There you go, to your next one.
Okay.
And
Now
if you'll just pull that mic up just to hear and speak right in.
Sure. So that is the latter part that I just mentioned. We'll regress. We'll regress. So you see the difference between a notice of violation and a uniform traffic citation. Once a uniform traffic citation is issued at the courthouse, the court will grant a payment plan of 6 months for the amount of $262, and you can pay it off slowly. And I'm going to move on to the next one. This is the formal part of the disclosure, which is total number of notice of violations that were issued with 58,612. Total number of notice of violations that were paid is 37,815. And I'm sure everyone here can read that, but I have to read it out loud by law. So I know you're looking at me going, what the? The total notice of violation that were contested were 46. Now, this is administratively contested with the City of Orlando, at the City of Orlando. And a total of 42 were upheld, and a total of 4 were dismissed. Now, moving on to the right side of the page, which is uniform traffic citations. The total uniform traffic citation that were issued is 21,546, and the total of uniform traffic citation that was contested is 1,004. Out of those 1,004, 666 were upheld and 290 were dismissed. Now, I do want to say that 290, that's when an officer is no longer with the agency, those tickets are dismissed. So that's why that number is kind of high when you think about a red light camera violation where there's a video that shows exactly what happened. Moving along, that 6,412 were repeat offenders. These are vehicles that ran the red light more than once. Now, that also includes, let's say you rent a vehicle. If you rent a vehicle and then I go and rent a vehicle, the same vehicle is going to trigger as a repeat offender. That also includes FedEx or UPS or any one of those private entities that have different drivers. Registration holds were 68 that were issued for that time period. And a registration hold is placed when a hearing officer has adjudicated and they give them a certain amount of time to pay and they fail to pay. So let's say the hearing officer turns around and says, hey, we're going to give you 60 days to pay. Those 60 days have expired. A registration hold will be placed on that vehicle's registration. Now, can you hear me? Yes.
Yep.
Total revenue collected by the city is $6,891,599.07. Out of that revenue, of course, the state of Florida captures $3,123,705. Now, part of that revenue that goes to the state pays for trauma center, spinal cord, brain injury trust, which is baked into that revenue that's given to the state of Florida. From there, that $939,033.02 is revenue that's collected by Orange County Clerk of Courts and is turned over to the city of Orlando. So in other words, when you pay $262, $75 of that revenue is turned over to the city of Orlando. And that's that number there, that $939,033.02. Now, Orlando Stops, this is revenue to Orlando Stops, which is gross, is $3,767,894. That line that says, just before the second to last, says total revenue to Orlando Stops, that's the revenue that Orlando Stops collects, and it went through the hands of Orlando Stops, and then it got turned over to the city. When you do the math, that last number, $3,766,894, is the total revenue collected by the city. Now, I do want to clarify something. One of the requirements, it says that we have to disclose how many uniform traffic citations were issued and what's the revenue. So that revenue that you see, $939,033, if you back that out, because the city of Orlando, the Orange County Clerk of Courts has a payment plan for 6 months. So some people would pay, let's say, $20 a week or $60 a month or whatever they set up. We don't know exactly how many people are in a payment plan, because some people pay in full, some people pay partial, some people don't pay at all, and then it goes to their collection. But we do know, if we do the math, that 939 adds up to approximately 12,520 tickets that were paid in its entirety, if it, in fact, it were paid in its entirety for $75. Is that confusing enough? Now the expenses. Total revenue left over is $3,767,847.07. Administrative and operational expenses, salaries and wages, is $368,245.03. Camera vendor takes up 1.4, $11,256.61. Supplies, uniforms, Inc., office supplies is approximately $10,000, which is $9,859.43. The rental of the facilities, legal expensive software, mailing, and printing and copying is approximately $51,130.45. Postage is a big one, is $208,090.32. Utilities and communications is $544.43. Fleet facilities, building maintenance and charges is $16,185.49. The total administrative operational expenses is $2,065,311.76. The total revenue after expenses is $763,549.29. Now, out of those 763,000, the next line that reads, The next line that reads 825,000, that's how much was used on traffic safety projects throughout the city. Now, the reason why that's a higher number is because from prior years, there was funds left over and it was used during this reporting period of July 1st, 2023 to June 30th. So that's why you have those difference in numbers. So there was an extra $61,450 that was surplus from a prior year. And on display right now is the different safety fund projects that were completed or in the stage during that reporting year. Corrine Drive pedestrian hybrid beacon, Corrine Drive pilot path, Lake Eola Central crosswalk improvements, downtown asphalt art, that's the art you see throughout the city at the crosswalk, Bubby traffic calming designs, project management salaries and wages. So that's the project managers for Vision Zero, Orlando Cross Grant Match, Movision, traffic data equipment, school crossing guard supplement. There is some money that goes to school crossing guard. Washington Gertrude Walk Cross, and near miss analysis study at Roslyn. And comments?
Okay, Madam Clerk, do we have any requests from the public to comment on this?
No speakers, Mayor.
Okay, all right, Commissioner Burns, then Commissioner Stewart.
All right, thank you, Ray, for that presentation. And fellow council members, I've had a chance to speak with our transportation department. I just want to kind of mention a few things. I was looking at this traffic safety fund project list, and I'm not sure which districts these projects were done in. But when I asked the question of the funding that was generated from each district and how that compared to the safety projects that were done in that year, I was somewhat disturbed because I saw where District 6 generated the most money in this fund. I believe it was about $1.5 million. But District 6 only received 6% of the safety projects that was funded through this. And I think that we have to keep in mind that red light cameras are put in certain places for reasons, whether it be the number of wrecks or what have you. So there are some criteria. So with a district having more red light cameras, I would assume that there's a need for additional safety projects. So I did speak with the staff, and they assured me that they will be looking at this a little further to ensure that wherever the money is generated, not saying that because it's generated in District 6, it has to be used in District 6, but it's concerning when we have the highest amount generated in only 6% of the projects. And we have some districts who have the less amount money generated with more than 23 or 28% of the projects done in their district. So I just want us to keep our eyes on that to ensure that where this money is being generated, that it is being invested in the districts that have shown that there's some traffic safety issues in those districts. So, but thank you for the presentation, but I would like to see moving forward more of a description of where these projects happened at. So, and I'm not sure if I'm the only commissioner that is concerned about that, but I would like to know what was generated in District 6, what was the number of projects that were funded from this money that was generated from the red light cameras. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Stewart.
Great, thank you. Ray, thank you very much. I appreciate it. A quick question, which I don't quite understand. I want to look at your numbers again. You on one of your slides, you have a total number of violations of 58,600. And then directly underneath that, total number of violations paid of 37,000. And I understand why there's a $20,000 delta there. You issued 58,000, but only 37,000 were paid.
Right, so,
Tell me how the process, why that.
yeah, I'll walk you through the process. So when a violation is issued, you have 60 days to pay, and then the city gives you an extra 30, so for a total of 90 days. If those 90 days expire, then what this number is showing is that within those 90 days there was 37,815 were paid in that time frame. The other difference, which is basically 1,000, went on to be a uniform traffic citation.
Well, so that, but they aren't identical in terms of the amount, in terms of the actual amount. I did the difference between 58 and 37 was 20,700, but over on UTC it was 21,500. So you're 800 off on that number.
Yeah. So what happens is if it was some type of adjudication or something, or was paid through the courts and so forth, it'll factor in a different number. Yeah, absolutely. So in other words, if give you a better example, if I get a notification, if I get a notice of violation, I can request a hearing at the last second. You got 60 days to request a hearing. I can request a hearing, and that at the time where that hearing was requested, they won't go to court for another few months. But then they decide we're going to pay. But it doesn't factor into this number because they did it, and they withdrew the court hearing. Sometimes they don't withdraw the court hearings, and they got an extra 60 to 90 days to pay. So that's what factors. It's not going to be very accurate. Sometimes a uniform traffic citation gets sent back.
So the timing is part of the issue.
Yes, yes.
Right, so let me make sure I understand. So if I were to get a ticket, and I would never run a red light camera because there's a sign that says don't run the red light camera. If I were to get a ticket and I paid within 90 days, that's part of the 37,000.
Yes.
If I don't pay within 90 days, it goes to becomes a UTC, and then it gets processed separately.
Yeah, at the courthouse.
Okay. And so the difference is really a difference in timing over the year time frame that we have. Some are in process before, some are in process after. And that's the timing difference. Okay.
Right. So basically, you can say 37,815 are good payers.
Good payers.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Good. I didn't quite get the two connections. Thank you.
Commissioner Sheehan?
Thank you, Mayor. Ray, I'd just like to say thank you for the work that you do. This is something, red light running cameras has been something really important to our city. We've had a 40% reduction in side impact crashes, which are a lot worse than, some of the bumps that sometimes you'll get with red light cameras. So I think it's a great program. Thank you so much for what you do. And sometimes people say to me, well, that's just a big cash cow for the city. I'm like, if you're not running red lights, there is no cash cow.
Right.
So y'all need to pay attention and not do this because it's dangerous. And so what you are doing is providing for public safety, and I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay, Ray, I think you have us in compliance with Florida Statute 316.0083. We appreciate that.
So I'm off the hook.
Yep, off the hook.
Thank you, Ray.
Thank you.
Okay, new business. So we have, last week we did the settlement agreement with Orange County, and part of the settlement agreement, the comprehensive settlement agreement, required them to move forward with the interlocal and funding agreements for Camping World and for Kia. As I mentioned this morning, we've been working on this since February of 2023. We've been working on those actual agreements since at least June, so it is very nice to finally bring this in for a landing. It'll be $400 million to be utilized for Camping World, $226 for Kia. I have a whole thing on how this is all about economic development and everything, but I'm just saying thank you to Commissioner Demings and the Orange County Commission and everybody involved in the tourist development tax arena for making this possible. The upgrade to Camping World is going to allow us to continue to keep the games that we already have, but also bid for other things that are substantially impactful. The arena is now 14 years old, which is really hard to believe. So think about your house at the age of 14. Things start to need to be replaced, big capital improvements. And I'm very proud that we've always been able to operate all of our venues at a profit and not need to have a substantial substantial amount of help. Going to mention the convention center that does get a substantial amount of help on operations every year. So I think we have done a really good job of operating our venues, but some of the big capital expenditures, I think, clearly should come from tourist development tax. So we have those before us today. I see Steve Hogan of Florida Citrus Sports, who has a very keen interest in Camping World, obviously, and has some really cool stuff that we're going to be bidding for in the not-too-distant future. We also have some additional soccer matches. We've got the Pro Bowl coming up in the stadium, a bunch of concerts. Kia had the best year it's ever possibly had. So why don't we start with the interlocal and funding agreement between Orange County and the city for Camping World Stadium. Motion by Commissioner Rose, second by Commissioner Burns. Discussion. Do I have any cards to speak, Madam?
No speakers, Mayor.
Okay, discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed. Motion carries unanimously. Now on the motion for Kia Center.
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Stewart,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sheehan. Any cards, Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
Okay, discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, and the motion carries unanimously. I think that takes a little pause. Okay, all of you that were here just for that can now go. Alan and Steve Hogan. There you go. Okay, hearings, ordinance, first reading, number 1.
Ordinance number 2024-52, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's growth management plan to designate the certain land generally located north of State Road 528, south of Alafaya Trail, and west of Innovation Way, comprised of 3,327.70 acres of land, more or less, public, recreational, and institutional, with the resource protection overlay, designating the property as public use with the resource protection overlay district on the city's official zoning maps, providing for amendment of the city's official future land use and zoning maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Rose. Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers, discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. All right, hearings, ordinances, second reading, number 1.
Number 2024-33, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to the city's growth management plan, amending future land use sub-area policy as .40.2 to change the allowable development program, providing for amendment of the city's growth management plan, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2024-34, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Southeastern Oaks Plan Development Zoning District, providing an amended development plan and amended land development regulations for the plan development, severability, correction of scrivener's error, permit disclaimer, and an effective date.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Commissioner Gray, second by Commissioner Ortiz. No speakers, discussion. Hearing none, all motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion passes, carries. Okay, number 3.
Ordinance number 2024-42, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, relating to mobile vending and services, amending Chapter 5 Orlando City Code entitled Code Enforcement, amending Chapter 58 Part 1B, 4C, and 4D Land Development Code to provide regulations for mobile vending and mobile services, amending Chapter 62 Part 4 Land Development Code entitled Specially Planned Areas, amending Chapter 66 Land Development Code entitled Definitions, providing for severability, codification, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Motion by Commissioner Ortiz. Second by Commissioner Stewart. No speakers.
Speakers, Mayor.
Discussion. Commissioner Burns.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I'll be voting no on this ordinance because the main reason is this ordinance does not provide for a defined pathway for a mobile vendor to establish service on a vacant improved lot. So I will be voting no, but also I know part of the issue is that food trucks are seen as solely as an accessory use. So at some point, I would like us to take a look at that to see if we still should consider food trucks as an accessory use as opposed to it not being accessory use and they being able to set up on a vacant lot and provide the services that they provide. So again, Mayor, I'll be voting no on this ordinance for those reasons.
Okay. Further discussion, hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
6-1 no with Commissioner Burns a no. Okay, let's move to ordinances, first read number 1.
Ordinance number 2024-43, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the city's adopted growth management plan to change the future land use map designation for approximately 15.84 acres of land, generally located north of West Washington Street, south of Rock Lake, east of North Tampa Avenue, and west of Kent Avenue, from residential low intensity in part and mixed use corridor medium intensity in part to residential medium intensity on the city's official future land use maps, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's errors, and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rose, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Madam Clerk, any speakers?
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers, discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carries. Number 2.
Ordinance number 2024-51, an ordinance of the City of Orlando granting Lady Waste Corp. a non-exclusive franchise to provide roll-off container collection and disposal of solid waste within the City of Orlando, outlining franchisees' duties and providing the terms and conditions under which such franchise shall operate, providing for severability and an effective date.
Move to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Burns, second by Commissioner Stewart. Are there any cards, Madam Clerk?
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers, discussion, hearing none. All in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries. And number 3.
Ordinance number 2024-53, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Orlando, Florida, amending the Orlando Union Rescue Mission Plan Development Zoning District, providing an amended development plan and amended land development regulations for the plan development, providing for severability, correction of scrivener's error, and a permit disclaimer and an effective date.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Rose, second by Commissioner Sheehan. Cards?
No speakers, Mayor.
No speakers, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor of the motion indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and so the motion carries, and that concludes the scheduled portion of our agenda today. You want to get us ready for general appearance, Ed?